I'm Ken Sanders. Welcome to Ammo Can Library. Over decades of running rivers and camping out, having adventures in the wilderness, I've developed a ammo can or two full of books that have caught my attention over the years. Some of my favorites that I like to do read-alouds with. And I'm going to have to take this off in order to talk, I think. I'm going to share some of them with you. We're going to turn to one of my old favorites, Leslie Marmon Silko, the Laguna poet and novelist, essayist, and activist, I'd have to say. Never really met Leslie, but got to know her some back in the 1980s when I was doing my about 10 years worth of my Edward Abbey Western Wilderness calendars, and led on to a whole 17 different wilderness and national park calendars, but that was a lifetime ago. The bonus from all that chaos way back when was I got to meet some of America's finest and greatest writers. Just what a privilege those 10 years were to have met so many great writers. Some through their works because they were deceased, and others who were young and upcoming writers who hadn't even reached their full potential yet, like Ms. Silko. This was one of her earlier prose works, Ceremony. She had done Storyteller before that, and then her very first volume of poetry that launched her career was Laguna Woman, a collection of poems, as I said. This, to me, is her finest work, though others could argue with that. It's a witches' convention, and they're all getting together to tell stories. So we just kind of have to jump in here. There are no limits to this thing, Bettone said. When it was set loose, it ranged everywhere, from the mountains and plains to the towns and cities, rivers and oceans. Never stopped it. The wind was blowing steadily, and the old man's voice was almost lost in it. Emo plays with these teeth, human teeth, and he says the Indians have nothing compared to white people. He talks about their cities and all the machines and food they have. He says the land is no good and we must go after what they have and take it from them. Teo coughed and tried to clear the tightness from his throat. Well, I don't know how to say this, but it seems that way. All you have to do is look around. And so I wonder, he said, feeling the tightness in his throat, squeeze out the tears, I wonder what good Indian ceremonies can do against the sickness which comes from their wars, their bombs, their lies. The old man shook his head. This is the trickery of witchcraft, he said. They want us to believe all evil resides with white people. Then we will look no further to see what is really happening. They want us to separate ourselves from white people, to be ignorant and helpless as we watch our own destruction. But white people are only tools that the witchery manipulates, and I can tell you, we can deal with white people, with their machines and their beliefs. We can, because we invented white people. It was Indian witchery that made white people in the first place. Long time ago, in the beginning, there were no white people in this world. There was nothing European. And this world might have gone on like that, except for one thing, witchery. This world was already complete, even without white people. There was everything, including witchery. Then it happened. These witch people got together. Some came from far away, across oceans, across mountains. Some had slanty eyes. Others had black skin. They all got together for a contest, the way people have baseball tournaments nowadays. Except this was a contest in dark things. So anyway, They all got together, witch people from all directions, witches from all the pueblos and all the tribes. They had Navajo witches there. There were some from Hopi and a few from Zuni. They were having a witches' conference. That's what it was. Way up in the lava rock hills north of Canancito. They got together to fool around in caves with animal skins. Fox, badger, bobcat, and wolf, they circled the fire, and on the fourth time, they jumped into that animal skin. But this time it wasn't enough, and one of them, maybe a Sioux or some Eskimos, started showing off. That wasn't anything. Watch this. The contest started like that. Then some of them lifted the lids on their big cooking pots, calling the rest of them over to take a look. Dead babies simmering in blood, circles of skull cut away, all the brains sucked out with witch medicine to dry and grind into powder for new victims. Others untied skin bundles of disgusting objects, dark flints, cinders from burned hogans where the dead lay, whorls of skin cut from fingertips, sliced from the penis end and clitoris tip. Finally, there was only one who hadn't shown off charms or powers. The witch stood in the shadows beyond the fire, and no one ever knew where this witch came from, which tribe, or if it was a woman or a man. But the important thing was, this witch didn't show off any dark thunder charcoals or red anthill beads. This one just told them to listen. I have a story. At first they all laughed, but this witch said, "Okay, go ahead. Laugh if you want to. But as I tell the story, it will begin to happen. Set in motion now, set in motion by our witchery to work for us. Caves across the ocean, in caves of dark hills, white-skinned people like the belly of a fish covered with hair. Then they grow away from the earth. Then they grow away from the sun. Then they grow away from the plants and animals. They see no life where they look. They see only objects. The world is a dead thing for them. The trees and rivers are not alive. The mountains and stones are not alive. The deer and bear are objects. They see no life. They fear. They fear the world. They destroy what they fear. They fear themselves. The wind will blow them across the ocean, thousands of them in giant boats, swarming like larvae out of a crushed anthill. They will carry objects which can shoot death faster than the eye can see. They will kill the things they fear. All the animals, the people, will starve. They will poison the water. They will spin the water away, and there will be drought. The people will starve. They will fear what they find. They will fear the people. They kill what they fear. Entire villages will be wiped out. They will slaughter whole tribes. Corpses for us, blood for us, killing, 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 killing. And those they do not kill will die anyway. At the destruction they see, at the loss of the children, the loss will destroy the rest. Stolen rivers and mountains, the stolen land will eat their hearts, and from their mouths, from the mother, the people will starve. They will bring terrible diseases the people have never known. Entire tribes will die out, covered with festered sores, shitting blood, vomiting blood, corpses for our work. Set in motion now, set in motion by our witchery, set in motion to work for us. They will take this world from ocean to ocean. They will turn on each other. They will destroy each other up here in these hills. They will find the rocks, rocks with veins of green and yellow and black. They will lay the final patterns with these rocks. They will lay it across the world and explode everything. Set in motion now, set in motion to destroy, to kill. Objects to work for us, objects to act for us, performing the witchery for suffering, for torment, for the stillborn, the deformed, the sterile, the dead. Whirling, 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 whirling. Set in motion now, set in motion. So the other witches said, okay, you win, you take the prize. But what you said just now, it isn't so funny. It doesn't sound so good. We're doing okay without it. So we can get along without that kind of thing. Take it back. Call that story back. But the witch just shook its head as the others, in their stinking animal skins, fur, and feathers, it's already turned loose. It's already coming. It can't be called back. From Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko.